In the summer of 1966, a routine surveillance mission turned into a chilling mystery. The USS Deepwood, a state-of-the-art surveillance submarine, was patrolling the cold waters of the North Atlantic when it picked up something impossible. It was a signal, precise and rhythmic, coming from a pod of humpback whales heading for the Arctic. But this wasn't their usual song. It was a mathematical pulse, a beat that seemed almost artificial. The Navy was baffled. These weren't just whale calls. They were structured, complex, and defied all known biological patterns. Desperate for answers, they brought in a man who could hear what others couldn't, Dr. Julian Vane. Vane wasn't a marine biologist. He was a linguistic genius, a cryptographer who could break codes that weren't even human. They locked him in a soundproof bunker deep underground, with nothing but the recordings from the Deepwood. For 6 agonizing months he listened. He played the tapes forward, backward, and at every conceivable speed. Then one day he slowed them down by 400%, and the hair on his arms stood on end. The terrifying truth echoed through his headphones. The whales were speaking, not in some ancient melodic language, but in high-speed, encrypted Morse code. But what they were saying was far more terrifying than how they were saying it. This wasn't about migration routes or feeding grounds. The whales were broadcasting a list of coordinates, the precise location of every single US nuclear silo on the East Coast. The revelation sent shockwaves through the highest levels of the Pentagon. The immediate conclusion was as logical as it was horrifying. The Soviets had found a way to weaponize nature. They had somehow hacked the whales. The military scrambled to contain the threat, giving it a code name, Project Cetus. The prevailing theory was that Russian scientists had performed microscopic surgery, implanting sophisticated acoustic transmitters directly into the whales' brains. They had created the perfect spy network, invisible, biological, and swimming right under their noses. But Julian Vane wasn't convinced. He was a man of patterns, and something didn't fit. He locked himself away again, diving deeper into the spectrograms, the visual representations of the sound. He spent weeks staring at the cascading waves of data, looking for the ghost in the machine, and that's when he found it. A layer of information hidden beneath the Morse code, something the Navy's frantic analysts had completely missed. The messages contained data that the Soviets couldn't possibly possess, not even with the most advanced intelligence. The whales weren't just broadcasting silo locations, they were transmitting what Vane called extinction protocols. These weren't military secrets, they were planetary ones. The dates of future catastrophic earthquakes, precise predictions of tectonic plate shifts across the globe, and most chillingly, the exact moment the polar ice caps would begin their final irreversible collapse. Vane's blood ran cold. The whales weren't spies for Moscow. They couldn't be. They were something else entirely. They were terrestrial loudspeakers for an intelligence that wasn't human, an intelligence that resided in the Hadal Zone, the deepest, most crushing trenches of the ocean, where the pressure is over 1,000 times that of the surface, a place where life as we know it should be impossible. Vane's final journal entry, dated November 19th, 1966, reads like a madman's confession, but it's written with the chilling clarity of a man who has seen the truth. He claimed he had found a way to talk back. Using a powerful experimental hydrophone, he reverse-engineered the whale's language and sent a simple, desperate message into the abyss. He asked, "Who are you serving?" The reply was almost instantaneous. It didn't come back in Morse code. It came in perfect, unaccented English. The voice wasn't just in his headphones, it vibrated through the very hull of the submarine, a deep, resonant hum that seemed to come from the water itself. It said, "We are the memory of the deep. You are the blip on the surface." In that moment, Vane understood. The whales weren't just animals. They were biological relay stations, organic antennas for a vast, ancient civilization that had lived beneath the Earth's crust for millions of years. This old power, as he called it, was using the Soviets' own Project Cetus as a test. They were intercepting the human signals, analyzing our technology, our paranoia, our capacity for self-destruction. They were using our own Cold War to evaluate us, to decide if humanity was a species worth preserving, or if it was time to reset the surface and start over. Dr. Julian Vane vanished 2 days after sending that message. His disappearance was swift and silent. His body was found weeks later, in a place that made no sense, the middle of the New Mexico desert, hundreds of miles from the nearest ocean. The official cause of death was even more baffling: dry drowning. The coroner's report was classified, but whispers leaked out. Vane's lungs were completely filled with salt water. But it wasn't just any salt water. Forensic analysis revealed it was heavy, uniquely oxygen-rich water, with a mineral composition found in only one place on Earth: the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The cover-up was immediate and absolute. Every tape from Project Cetus was confiscated and locked away in a vault that officially doesn't exist. Every scientist, technician, and sailor involved was debriefed, sworn to secrecy, and reassigned to forgotten corners of the globe. The official record states that Project Cetus was a false alarm, a misinterpretation of natural whale vocalizations. But the ocean doesn't forget, and it hasn't stopped talking. Now, fast forward to today, 2026. For decades, the whale songs remained a mystery, their complexity growing, evolving. But recently, something changed. The songs are no longer Morse code. They are no longer transmitting data. They are simpler, more direct. It's a countdown, all over the world. The Navy's Cetus underwater microphone network, the same system that first detected the signals in 1966, has picked up a new coordinated pattern. It's a massive, unprecedented migration. Thousands upon thousands of whales, humpbacks, blues, fins, sperms, are abandoning their traditional routes. They are converging, positioning themselves in strategic formations just off the continental shelves, near every major coastal city on the planet. From New York to Tokyo, from London to Sydney, the great cetaceans are gathering. They are silent. They are waiting for a signal from the deep, waiting for the final command from the intelligence they have served for millennia. So if you find yourself at the beach this year, and you notice something strange, if the endless sound of the waves suddenly goes quiet, an unnatural dead silence that feels like the world is holding its breath, or if the air around you begins to vibrate with a low humming sound you can feel in your bones, don't rationalize it. Don't wait for an explanation on the news. The deep has finished its translation. The old power has made its evaluation, and it seems we didn't give the right answer. Thanks for watching The Deep End. If you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next story.